We as a community have always loved and enjoyed Valorant cinematics as they came out in each episode, not only admiring the quality of the animations, but also the story that each cinematic brought with it. And unfortunately, the last real proper cinematic that we got was all the way back in episode 8, which was the Reckoning cinematic, and ever since then, we haven't really gotten an official episode 9 or 10, now known as V25 cinematic. But we did get a cinematic in episode 9 for the launch of Valorant on console, and a cinematic for the launch of Valorant's new episode system, so I'm going to be including those in this video to count as the cinematics for episode 9 and V25. I'll play each cinematic, summarize the lore, and then move on to the next one in order.
Phoenix, please tell me you have the package.
I would if somebody was a little less aggressive. Hey, stop! I said stop! Oh, that's how you want to play it. Ah!
You cannot let her plant.
All right, I'm going in.
What about the hostile?
I wouldn't worry about her.
Are you certain?
100. I got this.
미안해서 어쩌나?
Hey, Control. So, about the package...
Valorant's first episode cinematic, which kicks off the lore story, takes place in the Duelist launch video. In this video, we have Phoenix on some sort of mission chasing a thief, with Sage checking in on the situation. The thief he's chasing is Jett, but it's important to note here that this is Omega Jett that he's chasing. And Phoenix does not know this as he's never even met the Alpha Earth Jett yet. If you don't yet know the lore of Valorant, one of the biggest parts of it is that there are two universes that exist, each with its own Earth and identical set of Valorant agents known as Alpha and Omega. I'll explain this more when I get to the other cinematics. As Phoenix finally corners Jett, Sage tries to warn him, but being the cocky guy that he is, he decides to go in and underestimates Jett's abilities, where she then dashes past him and kills him in his ultimate. By the time Phoenix comes back, Jett has already planted the spike which was in that bag and blew it up in Venice, which is where the map Ascent takes place in the sky. This single event here is what causes a massive chain reaction down the road with implications to many people and organizations. I won't go through everything in this video as I do have another video planned for that, but for now, I'll just be summarizing the visible lore of each cinematic. Episode 1 cinematic ends with a visual of a massive chunk of Venice up in the sky as a result of that spike being detonated, which was what Sage was trying to prevent in the first place.
You in position yet?
Working on it.
What's taking so long? I thought you knew this place.
I do. Don't rush me.
We don't have time. I'm going in.
Do that, and you're gonna get the bullet in your head.
Please. Let me show you how the boss does it.
Phoenix, don't.
I told you, bruv. Oh, leave it to the boss. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell was that for?
I told you you'd get shot.
Not by you.
Well, she shot first.
First? So you did shoot me? You really got nothing to say? Oh, so you're gonna walk away? Okay.
Episode 2 cinematic takes place on Icebox, which is the brand new map at the time, where it also featured Yoru as he was the newest agent as well, and his lore is connected with the map. Despite Yoru warning Phoenix about going in, Phoenix ignores him and goes in anyway. Clearly, he hasn't learned anything since the previous cinematic as he was nearly killed again by Cypher, but luckily Yoru was there to save him this time. I once again want to highlight that the agents that Phoenix and Yoru are fighting against are Omega agents and they don't belong in this universe. Once again they've planted the spike and Phoenix and Yoru are tasked with trying to defuse it. After some pretty cool scenes, the two manage to defeat everyone and defuse the spike, ending off with a pretty cold scene where Yoru seemingly shoots Phoenix in his ultimate in order to kill the Jet standing behind him who survived. But it was actually Jet who had shot first and killed Phoenix in his ultimate, and Yoru who shot a split second later and hit the Jet, which is a pretty cool detail that many tend to miss.
This just in. Reports of a disaster in Italy.
안녕하십니까. 이탈리아에서 들어온 지각이 폭발해 공중으로 떠오른 사건이 발생했습니다.
Sta galleggiando a 300 metri da terra.
Radionite may have been involved.
Kingdom, whose Radionite power program accounts for more than 3/4 of the world's energy production, have denied any connection to this disaster.
Anyone with information on the two unidentified radiants spotted at the scene is being asked to come forward.
Finally! About time you showed up.
We're picking up gunfire. Did you locate the spike?
That would be a yes?
Stay close. Weapons ready.
I was born ready.
This way.
Hey, take a look.
It's stealing radionite from the environment. How do we stop it?
I'm on it.
You'll need a radic core to power the heat signal.
I got this.
Phoenix, wait!
Hands up, come on. You should see your face.
Come on. Did you find a power source?
Here.
Let's go, let's go.
But that! Not enough power!
It needs to be superheated.
Get that hit.
I honestly didn't expect that to work.
Really? So, maybe give us a heads up next time?
Side secure. We're coming home.
That the big man. Tell him I need answers this time.
What is your problem? We crushed it!
Phoenix got a look in the mirror.
How come they look like us? And what do they want our radiant at for?
I'll talk to Brimstone. It's time we filled you in.
Yo, we got problems.
We? You're the one that screwed up.
You serious? You had it easy, Jet. You know they're bringing whole teams now, right?
And so will we.
The Duality cinematic is probably one of the most important cinematics that exists in Valorant's history. After watching the cinematic, it really feels like Valorant has built a strong foundation for a really good series that they could introduce, just like Arcane. The cinematic kicks off with the aftermath of the events that happened in episode 1 cinematic. After Omega Jet detonated the spike and caused a huge chunk of Venice to become airborne, we now see vast media coverage on the event as well as the topic of Radianite being discussed. We can see that Kingdom, Jet, and Phoenix are all under fire from the media. Kingdom, being the organization harboring nearly 3/4 of all Radianite energy production, was targeted as they were seen as having a hand in this disaster, but they denied any responsibility. Despite this, the company was still under fire and they suffered a huge drop in their stocks. And the media also showed images captured of Phoenix and Jet just before the event, as they are now wanted individuals. You can probably guess that Alpha Jet, the Jet that is actually from this Earth, was probably incredibly confused and had to hide from the public even though she didn't do anything wrong. The cinematic continues with KJ locating yet another planted spike on the map, BANKZ this time located in Morocco. Viper then joins in to help KJ with none other than Phoenix, who even after 2 whole cinematics of getting his ass handed to him, clearly he hasn't learned his lesson.
Stay close. Weapons ready.
I was born ready.
Viper and KJ then talk about the spike and mention how it's stealing Radianite from the environment, which is a really important part of Valorant's lore as it pertains to the 2 universes. Phoenix then runs off to fight one of the attackers once again despite being told to wait by Viper. And this is where we get the shocking discovery of seeing an exact double of the agent. And even though Phoenix seems to freeze up in confusion, Viper comes in to snap him out of it and basically saves him for a 3rd time in a row from getting killed. In the meantime, KJ continues trying to defuse the spike and introduces a technology that helps with it, but Viper notes that it needs to be heated in order for it to work. The team then defuse the spike, and as they walk back to the aircraft, Phoenix told Viper that he wants answers from what exactly just happened. Why do these enemies look like them, and why are they trying to steal their Radianite? And Viper's response was that she will talk to Brimstone as it's time that they let the team know what's really going on. So basically, the Valorant Protocol leadership, Brimstone, Sage, Omen, and Viper already know about the 2nd universe, which has agents that look like them and have been coming in to steal Radianite. When exactly they found out about this is unknown and isn't really ever explained completely in further detail.
Yeah, boom! You line them up, I burn them down. Really, I could do this all day.
Congratulations. You were undefeated at target practice.
Oh, target practice? KO, are you shading the king?
You're not the king. You have the same score as the rest of us. How about a game where the bot shoots back?
I'll bring the fire in any game you want.
Please, be my guest.
Okay, any other game?
Let's dance. Yeah. Say hello to Maxbot. The perfect blend of tactics and firepower. Now you can train against, well, you.
My money's on the machine.
You got this, pretty boy.
Lucky for you, I buy these by the dozen.
Out of my way, Your Majesty.
Somebody call the doctor.
Well, this is embarrassing.
I'm stuck with these voices, they're all in my head. sense of broken.
Oh, he makes me so proud.
It makes me so rich.
Oh, I should have picked this game.
Winning requires sacrifice. Not really your style.
Hey fam, let's go again. That bot owes me a code. My turn. Team Forge, baby! What the?
All right. Playtime's over. Ready up!
Team Forge? Really?
What? Fire and steel. Come on. Hey, wait. Ooh. Ooh, you're quick. How about Firewire? Robo Squad?
Oh, the Swagger Express. Roaster and Toaster.
You know I'm programmed to kill you, right?
Come on, that was a good one.
Despite the warm-up cinematic being mostly about the agents practicing against MaxBot at the Valorant's headquarters, there is an introduction of an aspect of Valorant's lore which is one of the most popular topics even to this date, and that is Agent 8. As we already know, Valorant's agents are numbered based on their addition into the protocol, with Brimstone being number 1 and Viper being number 2 as they are the founders up until Sage, who is number 7. The next agent after Sage is Phoenix, but his ID number is 9, not 8. So this means that there was an agent that existed in the protocol before Phoenix who held the number 8, but they are no longer there. And this is teased in the cinematic by this locker which has the number 8 scratched out, hinting that whoever this person was must have left in some sort of negative way. Even Valorant's developers have acknowledged the existence of Agent 8 as well, and have told the community that they are currently away but they will be back sometime in the future. When exactly they'll be back is unknown, and why they left is also a mystery. But with every new agent that comes out, it almost seems like the teasers continue to grow. First Clove when they mentioned the locker with a scratched out A as part of their voice lines, then Vice when she was locked in a massive hourglass prison which looked like the number 8, followed by Tejo who has hourglass symbols on the backs of his pants near the bottom which also resemble the number 8. There hasn't been any hint of Agent 8 in Waylay so far, but it seems like we are slowly coming closer to having this agent finally revealed. The other small detail that no one really notices in this cinematic is at the very end when KO tells Phoenix that he is programmed to kill him. Why would KO, an agent in the Valorant protocol, be programmed to kill another agent for the same team he's working with? Well, that's actually tied into KO's lore story, and that's a whole other topic on its own, but it is still important to mention as it was first introduced in the cinematic.
Algorithm successful. The good guys have arrived.
Alright, kid. Confirm the location of our Radianite and get out. We don't want to fight.
Breaking and entering. What could go wrong?
Trust me, if they're weaponizing Radianite, we've got bigger problems. It's time to stop playing defense. Don't forget.
Brimstone?
Alpha agents identified. Move to suppress.
They look friendly. I need to get to that terminal.
Go. We've got this.
wide heck coming up. Now, where are you hiding? Let's see. Fortified grid, plasma sensors. Careful! This system doesn't play nice. See? Definitely not nice. So, any idea who's trying to kill us?
Even you're still alive.
Man, this planet sucks. Hey, these jerks are everywhere. Why am I in a hurry?
I'll handle a parasite. Find the other one.
Okay. Now I'm serious.
Time to go.
I'm close. Don't die for just another minute. Gotcha. Downloading coordinates. Now, what are you up to? Reality stabilizer, hydroponics, desalination. This isn't a weapon. It's a life support system.
Over here. You've always been so protective.
Good to know. Let's try something new then.
Reyna, Leon.
Get back here. I found us a ride home. You busted my suit. That's not good. For you. Oh, good girl. Sorry. Where's Reyna? Reyna, do you copy?
I have time to...
Un alma por un alma. She was mine.
We go now or we don't go.
Juntem-se nesta celebração da cidade subaquática. As ruas do centro da cidade dizem o museu do multiverso para os seus olhares.
No, I think this is us.
Killjoy, if you can hear me, get to Tango site. We're on our way.
So, are we still the good guys?
Episode 5 cinematic comes with the release of the brand new map Pearl at the time, as well as the new Agent Fade. It continues the story of the fight between Alpha and Omega Earth, and this time, the agents on Alpha Earth decide that they want to strike back themselves. In between all these cinematics, Killjoy was able to build a teleporter capable of transporting the agents across the universes and enter Omega Earth. However, she was unable to power the teleporter. And at the time, Neon was the newest addition into the protocol, where one of her tasks actually involved powering this teleporter. As Killjoy speaks with Brimstone, we can hear that the team are tasked with going into Omega Earth and stealing back the Radianite that was stolen from them to begin with. Brimstone claims that the Radianite is being stolen from them because it's being turned into weapons on Omega Earth. so it is logical that they stop them before they create anything that could destroy them. As they moved on, the agents encountered soldiers from a division known as Atlas, who are an organization on Omega Earth that often act as security. The organization isn't directly connected with Valorant Legion or Kingdom Industries, which are the Omega counterparts of Valorant Protocol and Kingdom Corporation, but they do often have dealings with them just like security, particularly when it comes with interdimensional travel. As the two groups are fighting, Omega Viper also joins in while KJ continues to hack into their systems to learn more about what their plans are. And it's here where we get an important discovery made by KJ that tells us a lot about Omega Earth. Killjoy finds out that they weren't building weapon systems, but they were using the stolen Radianite to power a life support system, which is what we see on the map Pearl. It's located underwater in a massive dome on Omega Earth, and the reason that people can live there is because Radianite is being used to regulate the temperature, provide oxygen, make the water drinkable, and more. The cinematic then continues with some more fighting, and KJ and Neon getting ready to leave, but they can't find Reyna because she has left them to go take on Viper alone. And a cool fun fact is that in this scene here where Reyna taps her ear as KJ was talking, is actually meant to represent the mute system which was added during the time the cinematic was released. The cinematic then ends off with a really interesting twist. The three agents go through a door which takes them into a comic store that's on the map Pearl, and they can see posters and comics about the agents on Omega Earth being shown as heroes, whereas the agents on Alpha Earth themselves being shown as a threat and the enemy. And Neon asks a really important question: are we still the good guys? If Omega Earth are stealing Radianite in order to save their own people from dying, then they truly are heroes, and with Alpha Earth trying to stop them, it does make sense that they might actually be the bad people. But at the same time, the actions of Omega Earth are causing destruction and death on Alpha Earth, such as what happened in Venice. So we can't come to the conclusion this quickly and say that either side is inherently good or bad. The lore on the Mirrorverse, which covers Alpha and Omega Earth, is quite lengthy, but I do have a video dedicated to it which I highly recommend you guys watch over here.
You don't know the half of it. I got dreams of looking up. Eyes that compare, but nothing feels like how it feels. To know these things are down my head. The weight of everything, and everything's just straight. Sometimes I'm trapped inside and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But to take on the world is the only thing that we know how to do. I've got dreams, finding out what all of this is for. It's you and me, and everywhere we go.
I think the cinematic for episode 6 is probably my favorite cinematic. Just the overall animation, the music, and the weight of the emotions that go through the cinematic are so well made. This cinematic takes place in multiple locations, one of them being the brand new map Lotus at the time, which is also located on Omega Earth. This time we have Harbor, the new agent at the time, tag teaming with Astra to take a look at this new map that they found, which is booming with power and energy. This cinematic may be a bit confusing, so I want to make sure I note this right now. The only two Alpha Earth agents in the cinematic are Astra and Harbor. Every other agent that we see are all Valorant Legion agents from Omega Earth because the cinematic takes place on their planet and in their universe. As Harbor and Astra infiltrate their world, Fade also discovers the location of the new map Lotus, and we get a shot of Omen trimming his plant back at Legion headquarters as Sage walks in to get her weapon and go training. Another really interesting detail here that differentiates the Valorant protocol from Valorant Legion is that the agents on Valorant Legion did not join in the same order as those on the protocol. In this shot, we can see that the lockers are numbered 6, 7, 9, and the one Sage opens is probably 10. Whereas in the Valorant protocol, Sage is number 7 and Jet is number 10. But in the Valorant Legion, it looks like the order is different. And they don't even have a locker for Agent 8 at all, so it looks like this agent might not even exist in this universe. As Sage begins her training, we get to see Jet, Raze, and KJ enjoying some time in Korea. And it showcases here that the agents on Omega Earth, while seen as enemies and bad people, do have their own normal lives and don't seem to be that bad at all. It even looks like Raze and Killjoy are canon on Omega Earth as well, just like they are on Alpha Earth. As the cinematic progresses, we get more shots of Sage practicing against the bots, Omen trimming his plant, and the three in Korea enjoying their meal. All while Fade gets the info that she needed from the nightclub in Turkey and escapes while Harbor and Astra continue to move into the map Lotus. What I really love about this cinematic the most is the connection between Omen and Sage. As Sage continues practicing, she gets injured by the bots when she gets shot, and Omen actually senses this when he stops and looks back at the same time. And that's where he gets up and goes to help Sage with one of the coolest animations of his smokes that I've ever seen. And this whole time, I think it's really easy to notice that Sage seems to be really on edge and almost like she's in a state of rage. On Alpha Earth, we always hear Sage as really gentle, polite, and kind with how she talks and interacts with the other agents. I don't think we've actually seen her in a proper battle or practice like this either. But on Omega Earth, we can see that Omega Sage is really giving it her all, and she has a lot of emotions that she's releasing. Right now, it's not too clear why she has all this tension built up on this version of Sage, but I do have some theories and have explained it a bit on my lore video on Sage, which I do recommend you guys check out. When she pulls out her knife here to kill the last robot, she even scared Omen, which just goes to show how her aggression is really scary, and she must have some sort of darker backstory that we currently don't know of. The cinematic then closes off with the Valorant Legion agents being alerted of the two Alpha Earth agents that have entered their planet, and they gather together and confront them on Lotus. Overall, a really emotionally heavy cinematic with a lot of story progression as well, but I just really love the dynamic between Sage and Omen throughout this entire thing.
Team, statusjekk 2. Oppdatering. Jeg får ikke kontakt.
Hele anlegget går på reservekraft. Også inngjerdingen.
Oppdraget gjelder fortsatt. Tak inn. You too.
Won't take long to prep the crate for travel. They're pretty anxious to get this thing. Stateside.
Maybe I go first, Tuffen. You know, just in case. Stop!
You okay?
Yeah. I just don't like rats.
How do you feel about bears?
har vi mistet reservekrafta. Hva i helsinken skjer der nede?
Focus. And you, stay close.
Wait. Where's the...
Anna. Måtte ilden din brenne andre steder. Did you adjust the spool capacity?
Yes, it is exactly to your specifications.
Perfect.
You two really need to get along.
You don't know what they're capable of. When do we leave?
The Unmade cinematic comes after Gecko and Deadlock were released as agents, and it builds on the lore story of Radivores, which are these creatures that have been fused with Radianite and have certain powers. Radivore lore was first properly introduced with the release of Gecko, but the cinematic also covers some other important aspects. It starts with Deadlock at the entrance of a facility with these two other women who are said to be her sisters, as well as this guy in the background who is a Kingdom Corporation scientist. After entering the facility, they find that the entire place is running on reserve power, and that one of the containers housing a Radivore has been broken, and whatever creature that it was holding has escaped. As this mysterious creature continues roaming around and making noise attacking them, we then find out that the creature is a Radivore bear, or Radabear. Deadlock then manages to lure and trap the Radabear, but before she could take it out, the bear half escapes and latches onto her left arm. And after a little bit of struggle, Deadlock decided that she needs to make a sacrifice in order to kill the creature, so she fully activated the machine, causing the Radabear to disintegrate along with her arm that it was holding onto. And a nice detail was how when the bear bit into her arm, she got these streaks along her skin which went up to her face as well, similar to how Gecko also has them, which indicates that these agents are somehow fused with these Radivores in some sort of way. In Gecko's case, he can actually understand and speak with his Radivores that he's fused with like this. The cinematic then continues with a shot of Deadlock walking across the room with her arm severed, as she comes across the Kingdom scientist who has died in the altercation just before she passes out. She then wakes up at Valorant headquarters where Killjoy has made her a new robotic arm, which also serves as a weapon for her to use. And Deadlock shows some aggression towards Wingman, pointing out her trauma and distrust towards Radivores. It's after this episode cinematic where we then learn more about Project Landfall, and the team break into the map Sunset where the lore on Radivores progress further. I do have a separate video covering the entire lore on Radivores, so make sure you guys check that out too if you're interested in learning about them. That's my last video plug, I promise.
My friend has questions for the boss, and you're going to tell us where to find him. 还有，我不干了。
This is going to be fun.
I have them. Cypher.
Where is the target?
He scurried up to the penthouse. It's more fun when they run, isn't it?
Mark.
Sova, I think you will like this.
What I'd like is for you to hurry.
What the hell do you want? Answers.
Nice to see you again.
Tell me about Shrouded Step.
Straight to the point. Always was your style. Sorry. We cannot have you vanishing again. Ghost.
Something's not right. I'm getting interference.
Heading to a new position.
Shrouded Step was a simple directive. Kill.
most talented asset. Who better to safeguard our secrets? To keep the discovery of Radianite from a world that wasn't ready. Imagine our surprise when we realized who you were. And that you became one of them. Tell me, Omen, what hurts more? Being ripped apart by this machine, or knowing your greatest failure? Now hold your leash.
Cypher, shut it down!
Give me a moment. Time to undo that mistake.
We're out of time! Nowhere to run.
No!
Friends, it's time to go.
Omen, did you get what you came for?
For now,
Viper wants a full report.
I will deliver it personally.
This was fun.
The Reckoning cinematic in episode 8 was probably one of the most important cinematics as it was a huge turning point in the lore story of Omen, which is probably the most popular lore story amongst all the agents. It takes place after ISO joined the Valorant protocol as he had planned to kill Omen himself after receiving orders from the Scions of Hourglass to do so. But after a change of heart, he then turned on the Scions and decided to work with the protocol instead, and as a way to prove his loyalty, he helps the team locate one of the leaders of the organization to take him out. After Cypher and ISO obtain the location of one of the Hourglass bases from the leader of this group that seem to be tied in with the Scions, they gather a team and go to Jakarta, Indonesia, where the rest of the cinematic takes place. Omen enters a tower by himself with Sova and Cypher doing recon for him, and we also get to see Omen using the Outlaw, which was just being introduced into the game at the time. We got some pretty great action scenes with Omen fighting the Scions, and he finally made it up to the tower where one of the leaders were stationed, this guy here who used to be the boss of both Omen and ISO. After Omen broke through the room and got a hold of this guy, before he could do anything, he flipped his lighter switch and caught Omen in a beam of energy which seemed to be anti-radianite or something. As Omen was basically being ripped apart by this machine, he began to regain some of his memories, while the leader also spoke to him about his past. It was revealed that Omen was employed by the Scions of Hourglass as an assassin, as one of his targets was Viper, who was a kingdom scientist back then. When Omen tried to kill Viper, she fought back and managed to spill a vial of her snakebite poison onto his face and trap him inside a chamber. She then proceeded to activate this chamber, which tore Omen apart and changed him from a human to a phantom. The Hourglass leader also noted that Omen was one of the strongest assets to the Scions, and he safeguarded all of their secrets. Secrets which he now cannot remember, but if he does, he would probably be able to take down the entire organization. Before Omen was killed, Sova managed to save him and release him from the machine, after which Omen tackled the leader through the window, dropping him down and killing him. Now, we don't actually see the leader hit the ground in the cinematic, so it's safe to say that there is a chance he could have survived as well. And I really love the detail here when Omen teleports back to the ledge, and he's given the appearance of a human for a slight moment, before going back to his phantom form. The cinematic then ends with Omen returning to the aircraft, shaken by the memories he just regained and sounding angry at Viper. And the lore that came after the cinematic is a whole bunch of drama between Omen and Viper and the protocol itself, which is really interesting too, but all that can be found in my other videos.
미안. 오늘은 어묵 남은 게 없네.
Think Brimstone's running drills again?
That or he forgot his password.
That's not possible, right?
This is what we've trained for, people. Omega incursion.
Where?
Everywhere.
The old man laid out the plan. Now all we gotta do is show them how to do it with style.
Hold them to their grave!
You wanted to be a hero, didn't you?
No. She's mine.
Agents. Let's make them regret ever stepping foot onto our Earth. Let's go!
Enemies forever. We can take it all to our grave.
It's about time. Let's finish this.
After the Reckoning cinematic in episode 8, we didn't really get any more episode cinematics like those, which is pretty disappointing because of how good they were and how much lore they would bring to the game. But in episode 9, we did get a separate cinematic that wasn't an agent reveal, but it did have some lore to it. The cinematic is titled Incursions, and it was made to announce or celebrate the launch of Valorant on console. It kicks off showing Jet throwing out the trash behind a restaurant where she works at in Korea, just as she is attacked by another person, only to then wake up as she was dreaming, but it was a real memory as she still did have the scar on her shoulder from when she got shot. As she got in the elevator with a few other agents, they enter a control room with Killjoy and Brimstone where alarms go off on an Omega incursion happening. Basically, the alarms were telling the protocol that there were agents from Omega Earth who had yet again come to Alpha Earth, probably to steal more Radianite. And this time it's a whole bunch of agents from Valorant Legion attacking multiple areas around the world at the same time. I feel like this part may just be tied into how the console version of the game is being launched around the world, where Alpha Earth are the PC players and the Omega Earth incursion represents console players now joining in. But either way, we get a lot of action scenes from the agents as Chamber fails to defuse the spike in time, causing it to detonate as well. And the cinematic ends in a pretty cool way as Alpha Jet finally confronts Omega Jet, who was the person who had shot her back in Korea, which she had the memory about. There wasn't much new lore present in the cinematic other than a larger scale infiltration by Omega Earth, but overall the cinematic was more centered around action and fighting rather than the lore story of the game.
¿Qué hubo, Cucho? El parche está listo.
Episode 10 came out with a lot of updates to the game, and one of them being a new system for episodes and acts, as episodes now span the entire year, so they will be referred to as V25 for the year 2025, and then V26 for the following year, and so on. Again, we didn't get a cinematic trailer specifically dedicated to this new episode like the previous ones, but the kickoff trailer for this new episode did have a lot of lore to it. The cinematic shows a mysterious person walking through a dark hallway, while at the same time showing scenes of various agents interacting with one another. We have a bunch of duelists having a party at Gecko's mom's place, Clove and Killjoy at a club, and Vice and Omen just chilling playing video games together. It continues with the agents getting called in to defend against intruders as we get glimpses of the person who's walking down the hallway, which is the new agent Tejo at the time. There's also several teasers of the new agent Whaley as well scattered throughout this trailer, which many missed initially, because it is the first time we got 2 new agents being teased in one cinematic. Also a side note, these white suited soldiers are new and they aren't the typical Atlas soldiers that we've been seeing from Omega Earth, so we may be dealing with a new enemy down the road. This scene of Brimstone's ultimate is actually part of Whaley's reveal trailer, which comes later, but it's cool that they added it here instead, which kind of shows that these 2 agents are being revealed rather close together. And this scene of these new soldiers standing in front of this teleporter is important as well, because we can see the Kingdom Industries logo in the background, so we know that they're from Omega Earth and connected to them in some sort of way. And that's pretty much it for this cinematic trailer. It mostly touches on lore with Tejo and a few other teasers on Whaley as well. I really hope Riot goes back to making complete episode cinematics like they used to, because those actually felt like mini movies and they had so much story to them. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I have a lot more larger compilation videos like this planned, so if you do enjoy them, please let me know. Make sure you drop your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, thanks for watching.